Herkese merhaba arkadaşlar, kanalıma hoş geldiniz. Yeni bir Sherlock Holmes Chapter One videosuyla tekrardan karşınızdayım. Arkadaşlar, destekleriniz için kanala abone olmayı ve videoyu beğenmeyi unutmayalım. Şimdiden iyi seyirler. Bir önceki videoda bu VOGELİN maskeli baloya herhalde daveti vardı. Orada kaldık. Bir vaka defterini açıp şeye bakalım da yerine. Bordono Manastırı'nın karşısında Turkuaz yolundaki Kurt Mankinos Malikanesi. Şu Bordo numarası Turkuaz yolu. Aynen. Büyük Saray'ın kuzeyindeki Turkuaz yolu. Şuraya bir dik atalım. Buradan kıyafetimizi de giyelim de verdiği. Yo. Bu muydu lan? Aynen. Oğlum bu nasıl tarikat lan? Illuminati mi acaba? Projeler mi? Daha var. Malikane burası herhalde ha. Aynen.
Welcome to the Manchios Mansion.
Sağ ol canım. Ulan tiplere bak lan.
Help me, please.
Oh, sir, I'm afraid I don't know about that.
May I ask you something? I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
Everyone's looking at
Welcome,
us,
sir.
Sherry.
I
You
do
sure you
hope
know
you
what
enjoy
you're doing?
yourself.
John hayali arkadaş.
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
Sapıklara bak lan. Oo, o ne lan? Yok artık. Ulan nasıl manyak bunlar? Bu geldi. Bu nasıl bir sapıklık bu ya?
What if I write an article about these people here? Can you help me gather information about Cordona's elite?
You have such pretty hands. What can you do with them?
I'm so excited about the event. My goodness, Sherlock. They made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just wine. The whores, at a guess.
I see that look in your eyes.
Want to go somewhere more private?
Olur. İpucu yok burada. Vaka defterinde.
Curtains.
Can you
do not
satisfy my
guarantee
curiosity?
Privacy.
Sorry.
And you still need a
but I can't be
crack,
of
despite
help
being
with
ethereal.
that, sir.
I'm coming, Sherry. Just give me another second.
Want to go somewhere private?
Ama bunların alayı sapık lan.
One of these books must open a secret passage. I know.
Bu mu
it.
acaba?
Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends. Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends.
One of these books must open a secret passage. I know
Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends. These medieval botany and chemistry books look even more satiric. Romantic poetry and prose. Someone's in touch. Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower?
One of these books must open a secret passage. I know it.
Are you able to help me? I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
Honey, you feeling lonely? I'll be your friend.
Nancho's had to enforce the masks after the scandal.
Burada bir mevzu var o zaman. Katılmak için fazla fakir. Maskesiz düşesi kızdırmış. Aldatan adam. Aldatan adam da düşesi kızdırmış elde.
Nancho's had to enforce the masks after the scandal.
Zaten geç. Good. Tamam, bulduk herhalde. Aynen. Magazin, insanlar önceki partideki bir skandaldan bahsetti. Vali yardımcısı Cowden, müstakbel eşi Prusya düşesi tarafından genç adamların arasında basılmış. Evlilikleri politik amaçla yapılacak olsa da düşesin hisleri gerçekmiş. Bu olay Cordona ve Prusya arasında politik bir krize neden olmuş. Gerçi çok az protesto olsa da vali yardımcısını
That's
kovmuş.
what I like about this party. Bring me more dirt, Sherry. One more piece, and I can expose these base hedonists.
Could you help me? I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
Allah Allah.
Sherlock! Friend! I wasn't sure you'd come.
Werner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
You may be right.
Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. Time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, and something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual, a potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
My mind is my most valuable asset and a finely tuned instrument I will not risk impeding its function. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility.
That's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened next, visit the victims, ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't?
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating your responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There
Ulan
is
ne
little
çok
to be
konuştunuz
gained from
ya.
indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
If this solution truly does assist with thinking, then well, perhaps it would be puerile to overlook an opportunity to study it. I'll take it with me.
Yes, Sherlock. Very good. And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute. Let Fabio speak for himself.
One of these books must open a
Well-known
secret
and
passage.
recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends.
Sunak odası neymiş la? Allah Allah. Abi cinayet da.
My God. Was he here this whole time?
Şoka gibi la, bu ne böyle? Dur la, Z yapacağız. Cesede bir bakalım da.
A blunt force trauma
Kör
may have
cisim
suffered an
travması.
internal hemorrhage. This golden handle has a bloodstain on it.
Olacak da bir
The
gerizekalı.
dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance. This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood. The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it.
Buyla bakalım bakayım.
This crude tattoo partially covers a slave branding. The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart. He died right here.
Şimdi bir zihin sarayına bakalım. Fobia bir okült ritüelinde kurban edilmiş.
The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony. This elaborate box must be for the ritual dagger. This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive. This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive. The ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly.
Vogel.
Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
Werner
On
Vogel.
nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts, but I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right, then pull yourself together, Werner. What is it about these nights that you were so eager to share with me?
Well, they're not always in the evenings, but they are in the shadows. People gather to test their boundaries in a safe and consensual atmosphere, often with more stains than your typical crime scene. But that is the point. Who are we to judge?
I suppose that's fair. What about today, then? Was anything different?
Well, I was invited as a special guest. It was supposed to be a time of both divine and carnal pleasures. A scratch for every unconventional itch.
I imagine you're reeling from your shattered expectations.
On the contrary, there is still spectacle, stimulation, and release, merely in a different form. I like to let life entertain me.
Or death. Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
Mançoz
You cannot
pezevenk
begin to
herhalde.
imagine.
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Huh, who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were
Filling time?
waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance and more.
Anlaşıldı ki bizim bey
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil. Not this travesty that seems straight out the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me anything about her?
Oh yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer too. I haven't seen her today, actually.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked.
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
The police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery. You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
Doğrudaki işaret.
This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus drawn in a hurry.
Odaya bakalım da. Sonra şuradan başlayalım.
What about a quick pillow fight? What about a quick pillow fight?
Abi nereden ne çıkıyor ya?
The pitcher is empty, but with puddles around it. Blood clots are adhered to the sides of the drain.
Şurada ne var?
Identical to the robes the guests are wearing. Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set. This is a different ritual.
Tören senaryosu. Bir tören senaryosu buldum. Başında şöyle yazıyor. Bir ritüeli oku ve tekrar, bu ritüeli oku ve tekrar et. Başlıyoruz. Bir sunağın üstünde çiçeklerden oluşan bir yatak var. Üstünde de çıplak bir kadın yatıyor. Gaye anayı sembolize ediyor. Töreni liderlik yapan kişi kadının iç doğurganlığını uyandırmak için bedenine yağ sürüyor. Tören katılımcıları tam bu anda ilahi söyleyip Gaye anayı tatmin edecek adamı çağırıyor. Sonra hayat ilkesini temsil eden adam kadınla cinsel münasebete girmek üzere gelebilir. Nasıl manyaklık arkadaş. Kürtün diye okuyacağım ya Rabbim. Misafirlerle ilgilen Matista ve onları sıkmayı bırak. Aptallıklarını duymak istemiyorlar. Ne kadar güzel olduğunu ve onlara ne kadar özverili davranabileceğini hissetmek istiyorlar. Hayatını eşlendirmek ve kutlamak için buradasın, unutma. Her misafir seninle birlikte olabilmek için büyük ödemeler yaptı. Mançios.
How can anyone accept such behaviour?
Matista büyük orospu herhalde.
A useful tool for a disguise arsenal. Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Banchos. The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me. The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio.
Aynı anahtar demek ha.
Would you recognise me in one of these? I suppose not.
C.
Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set. Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains.
Eski gardırop.
The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars.
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
These medieval botany and chemistry books look even more satanic than the occult ones. Do you know anything about this?
Sorry, but I can't be of help with that, sir.
Ready for the big whirlwind? Danny is...
Do not distract me. It's not easy to play blindfold.
You know what's here. You know what's here.
Yok. Büyü çemberi. Okültü. Büyü çemberiyle okültist elde.
You know what's
I know the
here.
perfect girl for you.
Tut. Açıyorsun, ailesinden önce malikanenin sahibi okültist bir mimarmış. Hayatını eski bir ciltteki güçlü bir ritüeli gerçekleştirmeye adamış ama sıradan büyü halkaları zayıf kalıyormuş. Bu yüzden malikaneyi inşa etmiş, keskin bir göz mimari şekillerin belirli büyü sembollere benzediği bazı duvarların boşluklu olduğunu fark edebilir. Bir gün mimar bir anda kaybolmuş, geriye zeminde kül lekeleri kalmış, belki az çabalarında başarılı olmuştur.
This scoop. Thank you, Sherlock.
I know the perfect girl for you. I know the perfect girl for you.
I need a rest from my insatiable wife.
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
Konak odasına şöyle söyleyeyim, sağdan girdik, buradan incelemeye başlamıştık ama sol tarafı incelemedik yanlış hatırlamıyorsam. Aynen.
Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion.
Fantazi
Why
kırbacı
don't
mı la
people
bu?
tidy up after themselves?
Hüla.
An open wound spoiled the carpet. Blood. A sturdy bottle met a not so sturdy human. It didn't break only because it was unopened.
Burayı baştan elden geçirelim bakalım. Buraya girdik mi? Aynı yere çıkıyor aynen. Geri geldik buraya.
You've got a lot.
Şimdi hepsi bir kanıtı iliştirerek bakalım. Ne var la burada?
A person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood.
You've got a lock.
Anlı el izinin devamı mı var acaba? Aynen.
A bloody
Sürülmüş bu.
handprint on an armchair. The wounded person was here for some time. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
So, Sherry, Do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here.
Düşünelim bakalım. Burada bıçaklama. Tamam. Şimdi burada kafaya şarap şişesini koyuyor. Kafa kanıyor. Abi burada bir güzel bir sürüklüyor bunu. Burada devamı. Ne yapıyor? Burada lavaboda da ellerini yıkıyor. Aynen. Abi burada da elbisesini bırakıyor kanına. Burada tamam. Burada da topuk kaçacak. Aynen.
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you alright? You're on the floor, not moving.
Zihin sarayına gidelim bakalım. Fabio'nun öldüğü an. Hop. Öyle desek. Ha. Ne diyor? Fabio bir ritüelde öldürülmüş. Okült kurban edilmiş. Bence bu. Doğru. Katil sunak odasını açan bir anahtara sahipti. Katilde sunağı açmak için bir anahtar. Mecbur bu VOGEL'e şeyi soracağız. Anahtarı.
I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
Kanıt koyalım.
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
Lan ne eğlencesi, adam ölmüş hala.
I know you can untangle this mess.
Aptal ya.
Oh, there's beauties. Manchio's is the best, as always.
I've worked up an appetite since the last
I
party.
need a rest from my insatiable wife.
My husband thinks I am playing bridge here.
Bu mu lan?
Kurt Manchios, I presume.
Aynen.
I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos? Who was that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos, oh yes, he will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise?
Ne oluyor lan?
What's going on? Freeze, filth. You're under arrest.
Oba! Seks partisiyle polis bastı. Yat yere yavrum, yat yat yat. Burada niye ses yok? Ha. Polis bildiğin partiyi bastı da ses niye yok oyunda? Bilinçli mi kısık acaba oyunda ya? Ha, Sherlock dayımız da tutuklandı. Adam kelepçelediler la.
Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience, Your Grace.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in his letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig? Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
Perhaps we can negotiate. I could be quite useful.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.